crispy.
Alright, y'all. So I am back for another edition of Figures in Action. And this commission is for my homie Russell in Australia. So he hit me up a while ago, and Russell's an active participant of the ACBA community. He participates in attorneys yearly in the photo contest that we have. I've worked with Russell before. This is the third dial that I've created for him. So anyway, he hit me up and he had an idea for a sewer, or he wanted a sewer dial. I've done a sewer dial before. Actually, I created a sewer dial, I think, for the first time I entered the ACBA tournament. So I think it was like 2 years ago. And I didn't remember much from that one, so I had to kind of go back a little bit and check it out. And then what's worse, since I don't really think I even made a video, so a lot of it was kind of reinventing it, trying to remember how I went about it. With that particular, so with that dial, with that first sewer dial that I did, I had bought a foam board that was, I think, 2 inches thick. And what I did is I just dug out kind of a trench, just kind of dug out a little area, chopped it up, and I painted it crazy. Just threw some of this silicone on it, and bam, it worked out. So with this, I didn't want to get a whole, because those 2-inch boards are like 8 feet long, and I'm not going to need that much. So what I did is I don't know if you guys can see it here. I just took 2 regular 1-inch boards, and then I cut the trench out. Then I took a skinny project foam board that was green, laid that down. But I couldn't leave just that base down because this would eventually bend and snap. So I had to reinforce it with a second 1-inch piece of foam. This is 24 inches across. So Russell wanted to go bigger, but I usually don't go any bigger than this. It's really tough to ship the bigger it gets, and so 24 inches is about the limit unless we're connecting dials. So went 24 inches long with this. I think it's about 14 inches tall, and you know what? I have a ruler right here. Let's see how deep this thing is, and it is 13 inches deep. 13 inches deep. All right, so let's get through this real quick. Couple things, as always, my thought process is about the upcoming pictures and making sure that Russ, again, I always say this kind of gets a bang, the bang for his buck type of thing, where he's getting a dial and he's able to do a lot of different things. In this case, again, going back to Boog's dial, where I use kind of this graded style platform, I did the same thing with this dial. This is a piece that's fully removable. Pretty much everything is removable. It's something that has to be collapsible as it's shipping to Australia. It's also something that you can't expect somebody to just keep up in their house for weeks on end. So it gives Russell the opportunity to break it down and put it away, and then bring it out a little bit later if that's what he chooses to do. All right, so where do I start? Some of the things that I use. This is from Home Depot. These just is some vents you can get in the plumbing section. And what I did is with these particular vents is I created the water flowing with the glue gun right onto there. So that's pretty much permanent. But I am not going to glue this piece to there. I'm just going to let Russell be able to work with it and maybe take some shots from the other side of that, or have a figure coming through there, or what have you. So I'm not gonna glue these things here. The water was made from a product called DAP. It's like a window sealer, and it's clear, but it goes on white, and it takes about 7 days to fully dry. So it was a little bit of a process, but I've worked with it before, and I didn't feel like getting a caulking gun, going through that whole ordeal. So I just went with this, and it worked out. I think the light came out, or excuse me, the water came out pretty decent. I was in a diastructure live video, and I was, or actually, was it that? I don't remember. I was in a live video somewhere. Where the good thing now is that, and I'm gonna send Russell some parchment paper. He can take parchment paper and lay it here. Then he could put a character or action figure. Wrap parchment paper around his foot. Put it here. He can go around his foot with the glue gun. Let that dry, and take all the parchment paper out, and then he can paint that little piece of glue, dry glue gun. He can paint that in white, and it looks like an action figure would be stepping in the water, and the water is kind of going on top of his foot. So, and you can do it if he's laying down, one hand, one knee in the water, one hand in the water. You can do a lot with it. So I will send a couple pages or a couple pieces of parchment paper so Russell can experiment with that. Wanted to make sure that this was something that I just added, because I wanted to make sure that this continued a little bit past that doorway. You know what I mean? Like, it was just that doorway. So now Russell has the ability to take some shots where things can be happening way back there, which is kind of cool. This is all foam board and balsa wood for the legs, and the legs are all removable. I'm just gonna take it apart real quick because I think I've said all I can say. I think I said all I can say. Originally, this was supposed to be this was added later on. I just had this as the original plan, but it made no sense because this water was flowing into here and it was flowing into there, and it was just going nowhere. So a lot of times when you're making a dial, make sure it makes sense. Make sure it you don't want to create something and then it's just like, how does that really work? Although it could be a really good looking dial, it still kind of doesn't make sense. Almost like when you do your posing, your ACBA posing, make sure it makes sense. Okay, so all right, here we go. Let's take, well, let me take like an over, and then you have this light which turns on, and it gives it a nice little effect. You know what I mean? If you wanted to have that light on and just the light in the background, so it does give you a couple different options. If you wanted to have light coming out of here, you can. So the lighting aspect is going to be pretty good as well in terms of how you set lights up here, because you can do a lot. You can get lights coming from the bottom towards the top. You can have action figures sneaking around the bottom of that. I kind of made it wide enough or tall enough where that would work. So there's a lot of possibilities. So let's just take it apart real quick. So let's just do this piece first, right? So you guys can see. Now this piece, everything comes off of this piece. I'm not going to do it because it's going to take me forever, but everything comes off of this piece. The handrails, and the bottom pieces there that holds up the, and then these come off as well, but what I did is I just created these little bases, so he has twofold, so that he has an idea of exactly where that piece should go, but also these kind of kept slipping. So with this, they're just kind of there, they're not going anywhere. So but these pieces are permanent. Then you have this light, turn off, you can take that light off, and then this piece just comes right from the wall. There's just these two pieces, and then these come right off, and again, these are pieces that are removable. And the good thing about the glue gun, it adhered very well to this piece, because it's just really like permanent on there. It's definitely was happy with how that turned out. Yeah, and it's magnetized, so we take off the walls, take off this wall, and just so you guys can see, this piece isn't anything fancy. I just did some dowel rods coming out of it and kind of stabbed it into the back of it. So, and then it'll just be a couple of popsicle sticks, or these skinny sticks will be kind of holding it up. Again, nothing fancy, but this is just a platform, so it doesn't have to be anything fancy. So there it is, stacked up. And that is all. I'll post some pictures at the end of this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them, and I'll get back to y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed. Alright, real quick, because I know I'm about to get bombarded with a whole bunch of questions. I'm going to go through what I use, what materials I use real quick. Alright, so this right here, the mesh, that's sewing mesh. You can find at AC Moore or Michael's or something like that. So this is People use this to sew. This is do-it-yourself straws. These are going to be found at Walgreens, Walmart. I get them at Five Below. But basically, they come in all different colors. You have to, you know, sand them and paint them. This is foam. This is balsa. This is also balsa. This is all balsa wood. That's thinner foam. This is PVC piping, with the elbows. This is from Home Depot. This is from Home Depot as well. And this is just dowel rods. That's actually not balsa wood. This is basswood. What else? I think that's it. So far, we've gotten a couple questions as I posted this picture, or a picture of this, on Instagram and Facebook. So I just wanted to go through it real quick so I can direct everybody to my video. And this is just one of those those little lamps you get at the dollar store, those little reading lights or whatever. But they come with a battery and everything. This is thin foam, regular foam. What else? This is that. I'm gonna get it right now. I know I made a lot of questions. This is what I use. I use a DAP for siding windows, clear, 100% waterproof window, door, and trim sealant. And so that's what that is. This is glue gun, all glue gun right here. And this is just painted and then dry brushed in white to give it that water feel. And this is foam. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I'm up.